Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Big Bollywood Buffs. Today, as a guest, I have a very special guest who is a choreographer, an outstanding achiever, award-winning, super talented choreographer. We have the super stylish Bosco Martis. Welcome to Big Bollywood Buffs. How are you feeling today?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm feeling great, and it's quite an opportunity to chat with you now.
Thank you. And
So we're gonna have fun.
yes, of course. I mean, we recently met at IFA 2024 in Abu Dhabi. It
Yeah,
was great to meet and interact with you there, but obviously we have some restrictions there and limited time on the green carpet. So what I want to tell our viewers is that that's why I always prefer to do one-to-ones because it gives us more of an insight into the celebrity's life, and we can touch upon other topics and areas of your professional life as well.
brilliant. Let's go for it.
So thank you for joining us today. Well, first of all, I'd like to tell our viewers that you have been in the industry for over 3 decades. You've choreographed more than 200 songs in over 75 films. So when I was doing my research, I thought this is actually so impressive. But I want to go back to where it started from. So I read somewhere that you originally wanted to become a footballer, right? Like a professional footballer.
Perfect, perfect. So it was me and Caesar who had this dream, and we were from the same school, and I guess football was the first
Hmm.
point of contact for both of us as partners, right?
Yeah.
And from there on, I think we just graduated and figured out. I saw Caesar dancing, and I figured I
Okay.
want to dance like him, and that's how this whole thing developed. And
Mhm.
yeah, and there's a partnership that come kind of came through,
Yeah.
and from there on, yeah, we had opportunities. We started off with Shan and Zagrika,
Hmm.
and then Rageshwari, and then Vidhu Vinod Chopra that got us Mission Kashmir.
Yes. So have you always had since childhood this passion for dance?
Not really. I was a shy kid.
Okay.
Not when I started off, when I took off. As in, got activated through sports,
Hmm.
and then Caesar. I guess I saw him dancing, and
Yes.
that's how it was inspirational for me to start and dance like Caesar.
Hmm.
So I guess that was the touching point.
Yeah.
And from there on, I think we kind of developed a partnership, and we kind of
Sure.
became a brand as Bosco Caesar, and then
Yeah.
the rest is history.
Of course, I mean, it's been a very successful brand and great teamwork. You guys have choreographed
Thank you.
so many hit songs. I mean, since my teenage days, of course, I myself have taken inspiration. I mean, I'm not a dancer, but I think we all love dancing at weddings, if it's someone's sangeet. I think everyone takes inspiration from the hook step and they just watch the song. And so actually, the impact is worldwide on more than you could imagine, I suppose, because there are countries like, for example, I'm born and brought up in Spain, although now I live
Wow.
in
Mm.
London. And so, when I watch songs like Señorita, for example, it's such an amazing fusion of both cultures, like the Spanish flamenco dance form, and then Bollywood, and then a bit of hip hop as well. And of course, we have such an amazing dancer like Hrithik Roshan, the man himself. So obviously, we'll talk about that in a while. But now that you've mentioned your partnership with with Caesar, I mean Bosco Caesar. Um, in 2016, you guys ventured out, right? And you decided to kind of keep the brand intact. So you have your dance academies in India and in Canada. Um, but what was the main reasoning behind you guys sort of wanting to do things separately?
So firstly, we haven't really all our you know uh, our institutes
Hmm.
or our classes, or we kind
Yeah.
of now have converted that format into workshops.
Okay.
So we do like short workshops because the kind of commitment that is required from a
Yeah.
class, and it's a whole admin job which is
Hmm.
quite corporate, and it needs a lot of attention.
Yes.
And I guess if that would happen, then the songs wouldn't have happened.
Of
So
course.
we kind of figured out that we'll make the world dance instead of just a section of audience. So
Hmm.
we tried and ventured out that. That was a conscious decision that we wanted to make.
Yeah.
Secondly, Caesar and me doing our bit was um, purely in terms of different demands, different wants, and I wanted to start directing my film.
Hmm.
So that journey became different. So I directed my first film called Rocket Gang for Z
Hmm.
Studios. So
Yes.
it was it was a gradual but a very conscious decision that had to be made that
Yeah.
this is where I'm heading off, and I think we both are supportive enough for each other's
Yes.
dreams and each other's growth, and I felt that is what it could be, and just let's leave the the way it is,
Hmm.
and it really, yeah, that was it's more of being friends as we've always been friends from school. So
Yeah.
I just feel that since then, Bosco Seas as a brand has always been
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
a brand, yeah. And but having said that, it's no hard and fast rule that it can't become Bosco Leslie Martis or it can't become Cesar Gonzalez, whatever.
Hmm.
If at all we feel the need that let's just keep the name separate,
Yeah.
maybe that's a choice that both of us can come
Yeah.
to an
Yeah.
understanding without any heartache or without
Yeah.
any
I think
bad
what's
mouth. So.
amazing is that obviously you guys are so supportive of each other. So despite having different ambitions and having worked together for such a long time, you understand there's this amazing understanding between the two of you, and I think that's what obviously matters going forward. But talking about dance academies, like for example, I live in London, and we have celebrated choreographers like Shah Magdavar who have their dance academies here. But nowadays, due to the power of social media, what I'm seeing a lot is any influencer is calling themselves a choreographer, and these are people who have no prior training in dance, or sometimes some of them are good, some of them are not so good. But I'm really amazed to see how anyone will just kind of rent out a studio and start teaching a dance form or a dance class, and it's become a lot more competitive, the market as well, because now it's not just the Bollywood choreographers you're kind of competing with, but also all these so-called influencers. So yes, I mean, my opinion on it is, of course, that if you have the talent, why not? But on the other hand, I think it's going a bit too far. So I wanted to know what's your opinion on this?
I think where there's a demand, there's definitely a supply.
Yeah,
And if the demand is more, I guess the supply also will increase.
yeah,
Um, there's a lot of talent that now, initially when we started in 1997, I guess, which is
mhm,
vintage, that time I think the only uh, we were only exposed to certain channels and certain music
yeah,
videos and certain, yeah, so it was more VHS driven. So whatever
yeah,
we could gauge or whatever our exposure to international dancing or any kind of dancing was through these short format news channels, and we used to grab, there was this show called The World This Week,
yeah,
and there was a glimpse, it was like a good 30-second, a minute glimpse, and that was our exposure to, and that's how we grew up. But now, having said that, I think the umbrella has opened up so much that there's so much talent, there's so much exposure, and it could be in any part of India or any part of the world where
mhm,
people can connect so easily. And when you're connecting so easily, I think you can also showcase your talent. You're a star of your own right.
yeah,
You have a personality, and today that's important because earlier it was just if you wanted to showcase your skills, you had to do it on a platform where whether it is a
mhm,
film platform or whether it is a music video platform. These are the platforms
yeah.
were available. But now your mobile is your channel. It's your
That's true.
platform.
That's true.
It's your private
Yeah.
channel where you can showcase what you have. You can
Mm.
showcase your skills, and that is where you get the kind of exposure. You get the kind of visibility to with people.
Yes.
And like I said, well, suppose somebody liked what I'm doing, and then if I had an open class, and then they were free to
Mhm.
join in and
Yeah.
be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I think the networking has become a little more stronger and a little
Yes.
more, reachable.
hmm No, I mean, I completely agree with the fact that obviously social media has given a platform to so many people, not just dancers, but also independent film journalists like myself. Although I started my journey in media, in radio, and I'll talk a bit about that in a bit, but I want to go back to IFA. So congratulations on winning the award
Thank you.
for
Thank you
Jume
so
Ko
much.
Pathan. And
Padmini
I
Patel.
think that song just went viral. I mean, how is it working with King Khan? Because we've heard so many stories about, him not rehearsing prior to coming on set, but then somehow the end result is always so spectacular.
Yeah, but the end result comes when he works double the time that he it's a double shift. Like he's filming
Yeah.
all day, and then after 10:30, 11, he comes and then he rehearses till
Yeah. It's
1:32,
very hardworking.
and very, very hardworking. And that is the kind of that's there's a reason why he is where he is, and there's a reason why the whole world, looks up to him,
Mhm.
and there's a reason why this whole universe is with him,
Yeah.
because the kind of hard work that he puts in, and everybody is aligned to that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the energy that flows, and he just gets that so right. And it's such a pleasure to work with such a huge superstar, and you kind of want to give in your best because you don't want to be compromised. Or and working with him is just that you want to give him your best, and
Yeah.
that's where it so there's no hidden kind of agenda in this. We just want him to look the best,
Yeah.
and when he looks the best, you look the best. So I think that's the whole
Of
agenda. and
course.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and it was beautiful working with Shah Rukh Khan and Deepika, because they both are such powerhouses, and they kind of elevate your work, they glorify your work, they make your
Yeah.
work so
Yeah.
visible. And that's what happened, and that's where we were, because they
Yeah.
did what they did, and then we had the whole, just not the nation, the whole world was celebrating with them.
Of
And
course.
not to take that away from Adi and Sid, who always kind of gives, they
Yeah.
kind of support me every time and give me the platform to showcase my vision. And then
Yeah.
the sound from Vishal and Shekhar, they always are the best when it comes to
Yes.
that kind of collaboration. We've
Mhm.
always been there together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I also recently interviewed Vishal and Shekhar uh, because they were coming to London for a concert, and it's always great to see artists supporting each other. Obviously, your song "Toba Toba" also went viral. I mean, the kind of swag you brought into that song was just like another level, and somehow it also reflects your personality as a person, but not just as a choreographer, your style. I mean, we've seen your red carpet looks, always super stylish and everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but what I want to talk about is obviously when a hook step goes viral, we see everybody doing reels on social media. But I personally think, and I'm sure you would agree to this, that choreographers still need to be given that due credit, where somehow like people see, okay, this hook step has gone viral, everyone's doing it, but not everyone knows who's a choreographer of that song. And when I, for example, go on YouTube, I see the music videos and the song, and sometimes even singers don't get the credit. And when I was talking about my journey in radio earlier, so I started as a radio presenter. I used to work for Leica Radio when I started working in media, and I always made it a point to mention the singer, the music director's name, and if it was a song that had been hugely celebrated in terms of the dance, then I would also talk about the choreographer. So
It's very sweet of you. That's
yeah,
very
and I
sweet.
think it's really important to do that, and that we're doing this as well, this interview, and all the interviews that you do, so that your work can be celebrated a lot more.
Absolutely, very rightly said. And I think that's one mission that I've taken on